courage to be real, where real stories break the silence.
We had a great segment last week, or a great session last week with my wife, and now this is Jason's ex-wife, Amanda, coming on, and she has a bunch of interesting information to share with us on how the brain works. And I'm not going to steal your thunder from you, but welcome to our show, and thank you for having the courage to be real with us.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for having the courage to have me on. I promise I don't beat up on Jason too much.
Oh, please. That's a must.
That's the fun part, huh? Well, I definitely, I'm happy to share. I kind of feel like I want to share all over the world because we are in such a time where anxiety, honestly, has probably never been high as it is right now. And fear. There's just a level of fear. And I'm 100% positive that the physical reasons why people come to my clinic have so much to do with their emotions and what's happening in the brain space. And I am a clinical nutritionist and PhD in natural medicine with a specialist in trauma. And not like I am, the guru of trauma, but there are a few things that I've learned that I like to share that I think we can use as tools that people could take away right away from this show. So if you're interested in that, I definitely want to share that.
Please do.
So the first big thing is what we have to understand is we are primal in nature. As evolved and evolutionary as we try to get, we really still have those primal roots. And so I wrote a book recently called The Primal Question. And that kind of summarized literally everything that I have been doing over the last 20 years in this space. And so we have to understand one thing. The nervous system that each person has a very strict purpose. It's not to keep you happy. It's to keep you alive. That's literally its only job. And then it starts talking to the rest of the brain, or to the rest of the body. It gives messages to the body of what to do. But it asks one question, the deep primal question, is, am I safe? That is the only thing that matters to the nervous system. So without us even knowing it, because it's not a conscious thing, it's an automated thing in our subconscious mind, our nervous system is constantly scanning, internally and externally. It's scanning your environment for threats. It's scanning your thoughts for threats. It's scanning your emotions for threats. It's scanning everything internally, and it's giving all of that message to the brain. And then the brain is making a verdict based off of all of that information it's gathered. So all the things you don't even pay attention to, this is happening every second of every day. So if your muscles are tight, or I'm sitting here with my shoulders raised, or I've got my jaw tight, that's a message to the body. They're like, oh, she's tense. She must be scared. There must be danger. That's a risk. Check, check. And we're putting that into the category of potential risk. If the verdict then, if you gather all of that information and the verdict from the nervous system says, yes, I am safe. Here's the part that is really interesting in our world right now. Everybody's so on board with like the sympathetic and the parasympathetic and the survival mode. Everybody gets that, but then it stops there. It doesn't go into the rest of it, which involves completely your biochemistry and dictates everything else that happens in the body. So if the question is, am I safe? And the answer is, yes, I'm safe. Without you even thinking about it, your automatic responses in the nervous system automatically send a cascade of hormones like melatonin, the sleep hormone, serotonin, happy hormone, waking up hormone, oxytocin, the love and I'm accepted hormone. Now, if we've had trauma in our past, that's not going to be as easy. We won't accept love and acceptance as easily. But without even putting our conscious thought into any of that, that biochemical cascade happens. And that's the only state that healing happens in. But what's interesting is our typical conventional medical systems are all fear-based. It's very fearful because we're scared of what could potentially be wrong. Now, if that primal question, am I safe? And the answer is no, I'm not safe. The biochemistry that happens from there is cortisol and adrenaline and norepinephrine and epinephrine. And this is the part that we stop before we get to this. The biochemistry is everything. It is that primal question is the cause and it's the correction. And so we have to work with that biochemistry. If we can now retrain a person's parasympathetic, now we are automatically using different biochemistry, and the messages that are getting sent to the body are those of safety and healing and love and acceptance. But if we're in that survival mode, yes, people can understand, and now I'm in survival mode and I'm in trauma and I need therapy and whatever else goes along with that. What they really have to understand is all of the things that are happening in their body is a biochemical cascade that they cannot control with their conscious mind. Make sense? So we call them, we give them names. We call them Sam and Patty in our office because we have to befriend these sides of our nervous system, because one side of us is not bad, one side of us is not good. We call the sympathetic side Sam. Sam, I'm outing you. I have a cousin named Sam and I adore her, but she kind of emulates the Sam state. She has my back. She will be behind me for everything. She can get a little bossy. And she knows I say this to her, but she's like, you've been hurt before, so I want to stand right by you just in case. I want to protect you and I never want to leave you. And if we're running from a tiger, or a dog is chasing us, barking at us, or a car is, coming at us, we need that Sam state to get us out of that. But then she should back off. So we need this friend. We love her. She's here to protect us. Patty is our chill friend. She's the one that should be there 95% of the time. When a threat comes in, Sam pops in, her biochemicals make us able to take action, and then it should recede and back off, back to our chill friend, Patty. So we can actually use our friends and call on them, when we're in a state where we've kind of been stuck in this Sam state. We've been in that survival mode too long. So we can call on Patty, and that's kind of a cue that we teach our clients then of when we're calling on Patty, we're training your body to bring in the biochemicals of safety and healing. And that's, like I said, over 20 years, I know that I cannot get anywhere with my client with physical things. Like I can Band-Aid just, with supplements and whatnot, but to have true and actual healing, you have to be in that healing side of the nervous system.
So can I ask Amanda, of Drew's experience of his intense, violent projectile vomiting when he was trying to do breath work. So
this is true.
What happens in the body when you are safety is the survival mode, and how do you get out of that?
That's a great question, and I can relate to that, Drew, because I have clients that literally had a panic attack when we started doing some HRV training with them, because it's heavily breath work involved. And when you're in that survival state, it's a biochemical response. So let me answer your question with a question. What's happening when you're running from a tiger? Are you going to sit down and breathe?
No.
Absolutely not. Like you are, what we're essentially doing when we're trying to calm this state, that is the absolute wrong thing to do. I will say that. We do have to give calming techniques in the right timing. But when we're in that state, I mean, for the person who's in their mind about this, they literally are running from a tiger. We don't see the tiger, but they are running from the tiger. Their body still has that visceral response of the tiger. And so you're now lying to your body. Your body has decided and learned over time not to trust you, because it is saying, dude, I am running from a tiger. You are making me sit here and breathe. Like, this is not going to work. And I think a big part of our job is, like, when we're working in our clinic, is we have to help a person be truthful. So this really fits into your courage to be real and be authentic and not lie to yourself, because the body learns not to trust you. And the first thing we have to do is agree with the body, understand why it's doing that. So when you were projectile vomiting.
Yeah, it's true. He says, "Oh, we're going to breathe for what was it? Just a couple minutes." I think I made it
a minute
just about a minute, and I'm like, I ran to the bathroom.
I gotta go.
Yep.
And so a couple weeks ago, we were talking about this exact same thing. Amanda, Drew is this brilliant guy. He is smart. He's got all of this knowledge locked away. What was the one thing, though, Drew, that you said? Like, why was it? Like, what was the breaking point for you, the turning point for you specifically, Drew? Do you remember this conversation we had a couple weeks ago?
A little bit.
And you had said, I didn't want to accept the fact that I was that kid.
I did not want to be that kid. And I hid it for over 40 years. Yeah.
it, once you stopped lying to your body, like Amanda's saying here,
Mhm.
that is, I think, the core of what our show here is about, and the courage to be real, and just accepting the fact that our past happened the way that it happened, and it could not have happened any other way. And the more we try to disassociate from that, the more trouble we have in our life, the more we have this dissonance in our body.
That is exactly true, because you cannot lie to the body. Like, I do cell bioenergetic studies, and if you don't know what that is, Drew, the cells cannot lie. They will tell us what's happening in the body. And we may think that we can get consciously very good at lying, making a reality up in our head, but we cannot. Like, our bodies won't accept that.
Right.
And it will still do. Like, you can have a panic attack and your brain can feel totally fine, but you can have a panic attack because it has gotten so used to you just trying to consciously be okay and catch it that it will do that, but your cells are still getting that wash of biochemicals. So you can try control it as much as you want, but it's just not going to work.
And you're bringing up
I
something
think you're
that
right, Jason.
really...
It's the lying to ourselves. We have to really face it. And I know I'll share this part from past stuff, secrets that I did not want out at all. And I didn't want to deal with them, didn't want to face them. And then once I started talking about it, it was less scary. You know, it's like, okay, I'm just going to acknowledge the truth of what is, and this is what it is. And it's like, you ride up to this line of like, I don't want to talk, I don't want to talk, I don't want to talk, I don't want to deal with it, I don't want to deal with it. And then once you actually get to the line, like, this is where all the fear is. But once you get to that line and you talk, it's like, all of a sudden, it's not as scary. And I think half of it is because we decided to not accept a lie anymore.
And it's interesting what you're bringing up, because I don't know if Jason gave you this backstory. So I hid this from myself even for over 40 years. I just got to the point where, that wasn't me. That didn't happen. Okay, I have a scar on my back. Okay, big deal. That's something else. And I'll just make up a story for it. And I started to believe myself. And it got to where we have an adopted boy, and he was turning 7 at the time, going into actually 8 at the time. And some memories were just flooding back in, and I couldn't hide from them. I had a horrible therapist at the time, and she goes, "Oh, you just have to face this. You just have to." Wasn't ready for it. And finally, I started facing some of it. You have to tell Maggie. Okay, I wasn't ready for it. And then it was just too much. It was all coming back, flooding me. I was pent up. I was angry. I was almost even combative. And you know, Jason talks about the breathing.
Almost.
The breathing made me, a little bit combative. And the breathing made me really nauseous, sick to my stomach. And I vomited. But when he gave me push-ups, something physical to do, and this is something I'm in control of, I had no problem. I would hop out of bed, and I hit 81 push-ups one morning. This was a fun challenge for me. And even Maggie looked at me and she, what the heck? She thought I fell out of bed the first couple of times I did that. She goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got to keep going." And she goes, "What is Jason having to do?" I said, "I'll explain it to you." But the physical part and the roughness and the pushing myself and the aggression, I understood. The calmness was foreign to me.
Yes. There's some really important parts to that. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and you know, we joke about it now, and you know, there was a point when I could definitely get past whatever it was, 3, 4, even up to 5 minutes breathing. I can breathe now, no problem. But and I'm a lot calmer. If you met me a year ago, you would have met a different Drew. But there's a lot of people that are coming to us, to myself, and I'm sure Jason as well. And they're starting to share because of the courage to be real. And they're talking about this anger, and they're talking about this anxiety, and they're talking about self-medicating. And they're talking about, you know, they just don't feel comfortable anymore, even looking in the mirror, even facing themselves. And, you know, this is almost epidemic proportions, where everybody has some kind of a little bit of childhood trauma or some maltreatment or something that's coming back that they didn't let go of. And I'm sure you see a lot of that as well.
Very much so. I mean, yeah. I think that we're the generation of changing the generational trauma. I really think like our bodies are being used for healing not only us, but when we're healing that, we're raising the bar, we're raising the blanket of vibration on the planet. And I think that this is just there's a lot that's happening, not just for us, but for everybody. So in having the courage to be real and face those fears, it's not just you that you're saving in that. So, and I'm sure you were a very different person, but when you were talking, it made me think, you know, the physicality of it makes so much sense because, you know, I think in chemistry, I think in cells, like that's just, you want to meet me somewhere, I got to use my brain. So biochemically, what's happening, why you had to get down like that, we had a cousin who died in an accident, and his dad, not a super big guy, but he came and lifted that car off of my cousin. How was he able to do that? And it was because that is how powerful cortisol and adrenaline are. And if we don't have that output, I mean, powerful enough to lift a car off of somebody, if that does not get out there, that's what's happening inside of us. And so we get so used to that bang up feeling that calm does not feel good. And like we have in our clinic, we have to kind of practice that because getting somebody over into that parasympathetic healing side doesn't feel good because it's not normal. Like I know, like I've sat here staring at the walls like there's no stress. This doesn't feel good. I have to create stress because I don't know what else to do with it until we get used to the idea of, oh, this is so calm is normal. Okay, chaos isn't normal. So I can understand that calm didn't feel good. Breathing didn't feel good. And there's actually a trick to that too, by the way. That's because that's what everybody says is breathe, just get through it, just breathe. Well, one, you're lying to your body. So first you have to acknowledge that. And you're like, okay, you need to panic. Let's just do some and let ourselves do that for a little while. And then when we start getting back into the right side of our mind, what you actually have to do is not the deep breathing. Because when we do deep breathing, that's the opposite side. Like we're trying to get to that side that we just can't cross over to. So what we actually have to do is we have to exhale. So you can take a quick, but then we have to exhale really, really long. Because what happens, like if you do that, if you try to do that now and you're exhaling, do you see how my body, my torso is condensing and it gathers right around that center chakra and it's forcing your vagus nerve to compress. So we have to make that one little tweak. It's all about the exhale.
And that's a whole nother talking point we could probably spend hours going down is that vagus nerve. There's so much research around that and how that can help. But anyways, really quick, I want to just give Amanda a plug here because she had mentioned how she speaks in terms of cells. And for anybody that's listening right now, welcome to the Courage to Be Real with Drew Forman and myself, Jason Plevell, and then my ex-wife, Amanda Wentland, who you can find on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all at Amanda Wentland, PhD. Am I saying that correct, Amanda?
Yep.
Okay. And her website too, amandawentland.com.
Courage to be real, where real stories break the silence.